Hey, what's up everybody, Nexel here. Today we are playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and I'm going to be talking about the new Kingdom Hearts 3 Yuffie banner that just dropped either a day or two ago in global based on when I get this video out. So we're going to be talking about this the way we always talk about banners, where we talk about the banner, the medal, the draw odds, and finally my thoughts on whether or not I think you should be pulling for this medal. So first things first, anniversary is right around the corner for global. It is on April 7th this year, as it is with every year, and that's less than a month away, so that doesn't really give you a lot of time to save. Whether or not you are a free-to-play player or a VIP player, it's really not a lot of time to save considering the crazy amounts of things they could be dropping. So remember, when we go into any big event, so like an anniversary or some sort of special game release, you want to at least save about 15,000 jewels. That is the bare minimum for going into a big event in my opinion, just in case they drop a 5-pull Mercy, 3,000 jewels a piece, so that's 15,000 jewels to get one copy of the medal. Honestly, I think the safe bet is to be actually around 30,000 jewels for a number of reasons. So they can drop more than just a Mercy pull. So for example, they could drop a 10 Mercy pull, they could drop some avatar boards, they can drop some skill enhancement boards, they could drop traits in the Moogle shop. So remember, for Black Friday, we had 99 traits for a medal that you could buy for 1,000 jewels, and anyone who bought those traits whenever they got that medal was definitely benefiting from it. I personally benefited. If you saw my Kingdom Hearts 3 Nominee and the City of Sephiroth video, those 99 traits came in handy very much at that time. So they could be dropping something like that in anniversary. Remember that we do have this draw points banner live, so a lot of people are getting Supernova medals, tier 10 medals that are great, that just don't have any traits on it. So again, you want to save jewels just in case they drop something crazy like the 99 traits for 1,000 jewels. Even 30 traits for 1,000 jewels would still be really good for some players. So again, there's a lot of different things they could be dropping during anniversary that you'll definitely need jewels for. That's usually how it all works. You'll definitely need jewels going into these big events. So again, April 7th is the big day. Whether or not you're free to play or VIP, I highly recommend saving until you crack at least 30,000 jewels. At the bare minimum, we are looking at 15,000 jewels. But that's my big spiel about anniversary. Again, right around the corner, so save up for that. Let's go ahead and actually talk about the banner and the medal. So first things first, looking at this banner, I do like how they brought up the number for Kingdom Hearts 3 medals back up to 3. So every pull you do on this banner, you're getting at least 3 Kingdom Hearts 3 medals. Now that's a step up from previous medals or previous banners where you only got 2 or even 1 in some cases, because these 3 medals at the very least are going to be tier 7 or higher, and essentially anything that's not the trait is going to become points from this banner. So any other medals that you get that aren't Supernovas, that aren't sub-slots, they're going to be sold pretty much immediately to build up points for this points banner here. So you're getting 3 Kingdom Hearts 3 medals, again, at minimum tier 7, so you're either getting sub-slots or you're getting at least 7 points per medal with the Kingdom Hearts 3 medals. You're going to get 1 trait for Yuffie, which is actually pretty good because Yuffie in this banner is a 5-pull Mercy. That means if you do 5 pulls and then you get the Yuffie, at the very least you are starting off with 5 traits for that medal, which fills all the trait slots. So 1 trait per pull in a 5-pull Mercy is really good, because at the very least you're filling up all the trait slots, and that is good value in my opinion. The next thing is that you're getting 6 5-star or higher general medals. Now, again, these general medals are more or less anything. Talking about the pool, though, the big giant pool of medals that these can come from, they did not update it yet. It's still not updated. It only goes as far as Supernova Kingdom Hearts 3 Roxas, meaning that anything that increases base strength, not in the pool quite yet. The only big medal in that pool is going to be an additional copy or an early copy of Kingdom Hearts 3 Yuffie. So just keep that in mind. The pool that the Kingdom Hearts 3 medals are coming from, the pool that the 6 general medals are coming from, those are pretty much not going to be anything new. So don't get your hopes up hoping you'll pull for a Rage Form Sora or a Supernova Renew Aqua, something like that. That is not going to be coming from this banner, unfortunately. So again, those 6 medals are likely going to be points or sub-slots based on what you get there. You are also going to be getting 10 VIP coins. Now remember that VIP coins translates to traits, and you do not need to spend them on Yuffie. You have until the end of the month to decide which medals you want to spend the VIP coins on. So let's just say something rolls around like March 30th, you pull it, and you don't get perfect traits. You can use VIP coins from Yuffie's banner to that next banner. So just keep in mind you could save those coins till the very end of the month before you decide to spend them. Also keep in mind the last video that I posted about Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, where you can use the VIP coins to buy traits from the avatar boards. So you buy one trait of a medal you don't have, it fills it in the album, and that album completion counts towards Kingdom Hearts Dark Road. So those VIP coins are very versatile because you could use them for the banner itself, you could save them for a medal that comes later in the month, or you could use them just to build your album. It's a pretty sweet deal if you ask me here with those VIP coins. You also get 2 speed gems per pull. Now this again isn't exactly super fascinating because speed gems at this point are farmable. We did just get a surprise event where if you completed it, you got 30 free speed gems essentially. So the fact that you only get 2 per pull means that after a 5 pull mercy, you're only getting 10, and that's not exactly too much, again, especially when they have farmable events where you can get speed gems at 1 or 4 or 8 at a time based on how lucky you are with the rare enemy and with the Steel 3 perk from the pet. So 2 speed gems, not super hot. Honestly, I think the best part about this banner is that it's a 5 pull mercy. So let's just say you really want the Yuffie Metal. Maybe you loved her in Final Fantasy Advent Children. Maybe you really liked her in Kingdom Hearts and you really want this Yuffie Metal. She is a 5 pull mercy, meaning that at the very least, after 15,000 jewels, you are definitely guaranteeing 1 copy of this Yuffie, if not sooner. So that's really sweet. 5 pull mercies, always a good deal. You know exactly what's coming to you at the very end of that mercy after 5 pulls. So I think that's pretty sweet. I'm always a big fan of 5 pull mercies because you're guaranteeing it. The guarantee is always good. And with that being said, if you pull from this banner, you have to make sure you have at least enough jewels, or you'll have enough jewels before the end of the banner to mercy for her. You never pull unless you're capable of getting the mercy. That is the rule of thumb. That is the bread and butter of pulling from any banner, is that if you can't mercy it, it is likely not worth it. If you are pulling and you don't have enough for the mercy, you're honestly just gambling it. You're honestly just doing it for fun, but there is no guarantee of what you're going to get out of it. If you pull, try to always, like 99% of the time, be able to get the mercy. So that is my spiel on mercy pulls. Let's go ahead and hop in and talk about the medal herself. So let's scroll all the way down here. So this is the image of the Yuffie Metal, super sassy looking Yuffie, which is always cool. She's like that in Final Fantasy VII and in Kingdom Hearts, and I like that they continued it that way. Alright, let's talk about the medal. So the medal is upright speed. It has a maximum strength of 40,564, which isn't exactly too particularly special because what we're looking for on average is above 40,000. I don't believe we have anything that has a maximum strength above 41,000 without traits, so this is pretty standard. 40,000 again is like the ballpark of what is normal nowadays. It's going to cost 1 gauge to use, which is pretty cool because it's a low cost. And then its multiplier, so again, I like to convert it down to smaller numbers. So the multiplier after you remove the special attack bonus is going to be 17.6 to 17.71. Now that is a very small range, but not just that, it is not very high. We are looking for multipliers that are at least cracking 18 with some sort of special condition. So if we go over to, let's take a look at, for example, our Elsa, which is definitely one of the best medals in the game right now. So if we take a look at our Elsa, multiplier is 18.6 flat. Let's see if we take a look at the Axel that was just recently released, or the Lee, 18.89 at the highest. So the fact that this new Yuffie Metal only cracked 17.71 at her highest multiplier value is not very impressive to me. So we're kind of at a bad start there with an average multiplier, a low gauge cost, which is pretty good, but a very not beyond, but like slightly below average multiplier there. So moving on to the special attack itself, it hits all targets, which is always good, deals 7 hits, which is sort of irrelevant, we'll get to that in just a minute, and then for 3 attacks, it increases speed metal strength only by 5,000. Now, we're going to talk about this pretty much a few times throughout the video, but any sort of strength stat increase that's only for X amount of attacks is generally not very useful. And the reason behind that is because if metals have extra attack 40%, it kind of nulls the whole idea of giving the speed metal strength. So let's say, for example, I had this Yuffie, it's got extra attack 40% on it, I cast the Yuffie once, the first attack goes to that activation, so casting the special attack already procs that first speed metal strength plus 5,000. If I had that extra attack, which again is 40% the strength of the original one, then that's going to get the second strength, the speed metal strength plus 5,000. And then the final speed metal strength plus 5,000 is going to go to the next metal over. But essentially that second one was wasted because I had extra attack on the Yuffie. So it's kind of a moot point, in my opinion, to have a base stat increase that's only for X amount of attacks. They used it on Dissidia Leon, they used it on Dissidia Cloud, and I'm really not a big fan of those temporary X amount of attacks because it discourages you from getting extra attack, which is one of the best traits in the game and should definitely be a chase item for a lot of different people. So not a fan of this 3 attack speed metal strength plus 5,000. Don't get me wrong, it is a very high amount of strength. Being able to give something plus 5,000 strength is no laughing matter. However, there are better things in the game and likely better things to come within the next month. Alright, moving on to the next part of the special attack, it is 1-turn debuffs. So first things first that I noticed, no buffs. You are not getting any buffs from the activation of this medal, meaning that you have to make sure you go into this medal pretty much with all the buffs you need. So you'll need something like Kingdom Hearts 3 Naminé, you'll need something like Kingdom Hearts 3 Kyrie A with extra attack, because Kingdom Hearts 3 Kyrie A without extra attack only gives you plus 12 speed metal strength. This medal doesn't give you any of it, so you'll need extra attack on that Kyrie just to bring this thing up to the maximum amount of damage that you possibly can. So I'm already not a fan of the fact that there are no buffs. However, there is something very unique about Yuffie where she does do a lot of enemy debuffing. And not just enemy debuffing, but enemy strength debuffing. This is going to be one of the key things that separates Yuffie from a lot of the medals that are out there. So there aren't really a lot of medals that are as defensive as Yuffie is. There aren't as many medals that give a lower strength stat to the enemy than Yuffie does. So looking at Yuffie, she will give general strength -10 to all enemies and then PSM strength -10 to all enemies. That is the highest that we've seen in the game so far. Looking at general strength alone, Kingdom Hearts 3 Hades only decreases by 5, Kingdom Hearts 3 Vexen only decreases by 7, and then Kingdom Hearts 3 Ienzo only decreases by 8. But remember that Ienzo does not have a stackable effect. So whereas Yuffie with extra attack can get the enemy down to -15 general strength and -15 PSM strength, Ienzo alone will only ever hit -8 general strength. So Yuffie is the best debuffer in this game for removing enemy strength stat because she has that strength -10, that PSM strength -10 that is stackable, which can get you to that -15 general strength and -15 PSM strength on the enemy, making her a pretty much a wall medal at this point, a turtling medal. So that's pretty cool that they have a medal that is now capable of hitting that cap when there previously was no way to do that with one medal alone. Moving on to the next part of the medal, she increases your special attack bonus plus 200, which isn't anything special because, again, we have things that increase it by 300 for the entirety of the turn. The next part is this count plus or minus 0. Now, the deal 7 hits thing, again, it doesn't really matter because count plus or minus 0 means that it is not affecting the enemy's count. Whether it's a red count, whether it's a blue count, it doesn't do anything to it, which can be good or bad based on the strategy you're using, but overall, count plus minus 0 is pretty good because you don't have to worry about counters in that case. Her damage condition is damage plus higher slot number, so she does more damage the later on she is in the Keyblade, which I have a problem with. Again, that multiplier is nothing too spectacular. It only goes as high as 17.71, which is not very high, and then the medal gets higher damage the farther she is on the Keyblade. Not a big fan. I want to save those later slots for things that have like an 18 multiplier, like an 18.5 multiplier, rather than the 17.71 that Yuffie is going to be having. Now, this is one of the big appeals of the medal in my personal opinion. Next, medal turns speed. This can be very, very useful for a lot of different scenarios. The first scenario where this is really good in is PvP. So in PvP, there is 100% magic reflect on the Kingdom Hearts 3 Elsa and the Kingdom Hearts 3 Anti-Aqua, and that is a big problem when some of the best damage breaking, the best defense piercing metals are magic based. Yuffie being able to convert that next metal into speed bypasses that entirely. So let's just say you have a Kingdom Hearts 3 Elsa on your pet slot, and then you have this Kingdom Hearts 3 Yuffie on the 5th slot. The Kingdom Hearts 3 Yuffie will change the Elsa metal into a speed metal, and that will make her bypass all the magic reflection. So you'll get all the benefits of having Elsa with her defense breaking and all that, while at the same time avoiding a 100% reflection wall that can be cast by Elsa or Kingdom Hearts 3 Anti-Aqua. So very, very useful in PvP to be able to convert that next metal to speed. In terms of PvE, this is actually really good because it prevents you from needing to have a bunch of different metals. So what I mean by that is that, let's just say you already have a perfect Elsa. So if we go to my metals here, let's take a look at the magic metals. So this Elsa is almost perfect with the exception of this pet trait, which I'm gonna have to do something about. But she's got the ground, she's got the aerial, extra attack, strength plus 2000 here. The only thing is that she's a magic metal. Now remember my video back then when we talked about the damage comparison, what it means to be hitting for weakness, what it means to be hitting for not so effective damage. Hitting for weakness is pretty much ×2 the amount of damage. Now the reason that I think that Yuffie's next metal turn speed is pretty important is because you don't have to have multiple speed metals to get a good effect out of 2 speed metals. So I know that's kind of confusing. Let's kind of use an example using our Blitz form Sora here. So if we go to our Sleeping Lion, and let's just say, let's pull the Blitz form Sora. So Blitz form Sora in this case is going to represent the Kingdom Hearts 3 Yuffie. So one good thing about turning the next metal speed is that you don't need to have as many speed metals. So if we use this setup again, using this as an example for Yuffie, in this case I have 1 good speed metal, which would be the Yuffie, and 1 good magic metal. If we're fighting a magic enemy, we want to be hitting for weakness. We want to be hitting that enemy with speed metals only. But if you're limited on resources, you just don't have the jewels, you don't have the metals, having a metal that converts the next one into an attribute can be very powerful, because I have this super beefy magic metal that has all these great traits, but won't be hitting for that ×2 weakness damage that you would get when you match a speed metal with a magic enemy. Being able to convert this into a speed metal because of the Yuffie means that I'll be hitting for that ×2 weakness while at the same time not needing to buy a whole separate entire, that was a very bad choice of words, an entirely separate speed metal. So it saves me some jewels on needing to buy more speed metals, because I could just reuse the magic metals, the power metals that I already have to be hitting for weakness. I know that was very confusing. I hope you got it. Again, if there are any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments below, and I'd be happy to reword all of that. But pretty much being able to convert to speed can be very, very useful in both PvE and PvP. Alright, moving on to the Supernova attack of Yuffie, which is great but very, very unfortunate at the same time. So her Supernova attack hits all targets, pretty decent stuff, pretty standard stuff, has mastery, again, very common for any Supernova ++ metal that comes out nowadays, and then for 3 attacks, speed metal strength plus 9,999. We already talked about this with KR22 and with Yen Sid. Doing this whole X number of attacks metal buffing is not very good in comparison to what's out right now. In comparison to 2-turn buffing that's available on the Elsa and the Lee, this just falls a little short, just because, again, things like extra attack can get in the way. You might not be getting that plus 9,999 on the metals that you want. So I'm not a big fan of that. Moving on to the next part, for 1 turn you do get some buffs with the Supernova attack. So you increase your general defense and your PSM defense by 10. Now this is great, but at the same time, I don't think it makes any sense. The reason for that is because when you want to play a turtling method, when you want to play a game where you're increasing your defense and decreasing the enemy's strength in order to buy yourself more turns, you want to last for a lot of turns. We're not talking about 2 turns, we're not talking about 3 turns. Likely if you're using a turtling method to pass a quest, you are trying to buy out about 5+ turns, 5 turns, 8 turns, something like that. You want a prolonged amount of turns when you're playing a defensive setup. Now the problem with the Supernova attack is that it only procs once. And this defensive boost only lasts for 1 turn, meaning that if you need a consistent source of general defense increase, you're not going to be getting it from Yuffie's Supernova attack because it's going to go away after the first turn, and then you'll have to figure something else out. So by that point, you'd really just want to use something that gives you general defense plus 15 every single turn. For example, like the Kingdom Hearts 3 Yenzo, that'll give you defense every single turn, whereas this Yuffie Supernova attack will only give it to 1 turn. So I'm kind of mixed feelings on this Supernova attack. I don't think it's particularly good, to be honest. I don't think that it's formatted right. If it was something like for 3 turns gives you general strength plus 15, totally could deal with that because that buys you 3 turns with a defensive setup. But only doing it for 1 turn, in my opinion, really hurts the metal. Alright, let's go ahead back to the shop and let's take a look at the draw odds. So, again, I just summarized it for everyone here, but there are 3 different ways you can get this medal. You can get it from the Kingdom Hearts 3 medals, you can get it from the general medals, and you can get it, of course, as the 5-pull Mercy. So, trying to get Yuffie as a general medal, so that's her probability right there. That is going to be 1 every 607 general medals is going to be an early Yuffie, or when you convert it to pulls, it is 1 every 101 pulls is going to be getting that Yuffie early. So that's exactly not a great number, and it actually only gets worse when we look at the Kingdom Hearts 3 medals. So looking at this guaranteed A, yes, the percentage for getting Yuffie did go up, but the stats for it actually went down, unfortunately. So since you only get 3 Kingdom Hearts 3 medals every single pull, it's going to be 1 every 463 Kingdom Hearts 3 medals, or 1 every 154 pulls, which is, again, not good. So if you're trying to pull for this medal, you gotta aim for that Mercy, because you can't count on that 1 every 101 pulls, that 1 every 154 pulls. It just doesn't work out in your favor, so you are aiming to Mercy for Yuffie if you plan on getting her. So all in all, what's my recommendation? It's honestly a skip for me. It is definitely a skip just because Anniversary right around the corner, and they always give out the best stuff for Anniversary. They always give out the best stuff for these big special events. And remember that Kingdom Hearts Dark Road comes out around that time. So there's probably going to be an additional campaign that's going to involve jewels, that involves Dark Path. So really just save your jewels. This medal, in my opinion, doesn't really change anything. It doesn't change how we play the game. Defensive setups went out a long time ago, and I haven't really used them ever since, because a lot of the objectives for missions nowadays are like complete within 3 turns, complete within 5 turns. Defensive setups work best in a mission that the objective is complete without having to continue, and that's it. But we don't really see those quests, especially for things like big bonus challenges where we're getting jewels. We don't see it in a lot of the newer events where you get free sub-slot medals. So defensive setups are unfortunately not as good as they used to be when the game had a lot more variability in terms of its power creep. But nowadays, defensive medals just don't have a setup, unfortunately. Again, it is a good medal in PvP and PvE just based on how you use it, but it's really niche scenarios. So even though I talked up how it converts the next medal to speed, and that can be really great for PvE, PvP, at that point it's just like you could be using those 15,000 jewels for something that might be more meaningful. So for example, remember we had a banner where you either got the Fiend, Dissidia Sephiroth, or Kingdom Hearts 3 Nominee within 3 pulls, and it was a falling price deal. You'd essentially, for the same amount of jewels that it would take you to get this Yuffie, get 2 shots at that banner, which is really good in comparison to this Yuffie, unfortunately. However, with everything being said, remember that it is a game. If you like Yuffie, if you want the medal, I'm not going to stop you from doing it. I just highly advise against it, because with Anniversary right around the corner, it's honestly kind of spooky thinking about what they could possibly do to make us spend all of our jewels. So that is my analysis for Kingdom Hearts 3 Yuffie. Again, it's a skip for me for right now. Maybe defensive setups will come back, but I can't guarantee it, and it definitely doesn't look like that's the direction of the game right now. So that's all for now. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave them down in the comments below, and I'd be happy to answer when I have the time. If you'd like to join my Discord, get some additional help off screen or not in the comments box, feel free to join. It is right down there in the yellow box. Remember that caps locks do matter, so you have to make sure the K, the N, the M, and the S are all caps, and then that QA is going to be lowercase. So it does count for when you add the invite to your browser. But that's all for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, until next time, take it easy.